to travel to Cuba. The simplest is getting a tour provider. Those are the suppliers that I use, where they have already put together a package that includes one of these policy categories, and you hop on their trip. They've already adhered to the rules regarding the accommodations, the paperwork, and the activities. The other option is that you do independent travel. But when you independently travel to Cuba, you have to make sure that the airfare, accommodations, paperwork, and full schedule of compliant activities are sufficient, and that can be very tricky. So all of it: airfare, accommodations, paperwork, and full schedule of compliant activities. That means every day that you're in Cuba, you have to make sure that you're in compliant with the travel policy of the United States. So you can go, but my recommendation would be that you go with an organization that has already put together a travel package that you can go and be compliant with for Cuba. The next one is, I thought this was a little fun. Is your airport one of that you go to on a regular basis? Is it one of the ones that has the longest or shortest wait times for security? What would be your guess? And this is, unfortunately, in the United States. I didn't do one for international. I should have. Shame on me. Shame on me. I was bragging about being international, and then I didn't do one for the international category. I'll have one for you next week. So the shortest, Salt Lake City is the shortest in terms of wait times. The best time to move through security is Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. And your average wait time is only 2 minutes. And that's something. The worst time is Sundays from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. Wonder why that would be so in Salt Lake City, which they say travelers waiting in security lines could be up to 26 minutes. So Dulles International Airport, which is one of the largest airports in the country, is number 2 for shortest wait times. Fastest on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 to 11 p.m. at an average of 1 minute. And on Fridays from 9 to 10 a.m., travelers will wait 28 minutes. That's still pretty good, considering that that's Dulles, Washington, right there in the heart of the United States where everything happens. Boston Logan, another surprise to me, is number 3. The average wait time is 10.6 minutes. Best to go through security at Logan is Thursdays from 10 to 11 p.m. when there's only a 3-minute wait. Worst time is on Fridays from 5 to 6 p.m. when the business travelers are trying to get back home, where your wait could be up to 45 minutes. Number 4, Minneapolis, NSP, the security line is 13 minutes from 8 to 9 p.m. on Saturdays. Saturdays. Okay, that's the shortest time. I got you. And your wait time would be only 1 minute. From 8 to 9, I get it. On Saturdays, your wait time is 1 minute. Your average wait time is 13 minutes. Gotcha. If the flight has been, your worst time is from 2 to 3 p.m. on Mondays, where it could be up to 43 minutes. Charlotte rounds out the top 5 for shortest. Charlotte and Detroit, Michigan are at a tie, and that's wonderful. Average wait times is 13 minutes on an average day. The shortest time is from 4 to 5 a.m., of course, 2 minutes. And the worst time is Thursdays from 5 to 6 at 29 minutes for Charlotte. And best time for Detroit is Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 to 11 p.m., which is a 1 minute time. And then worst time is Sundays, 5 to 6 a.m. Who is in Detroit's airport at 5 a.m.? I just want to know. And the line is long. Where are you going, Detroit, at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, that there's a line to wait? I don't get it. Anyway, let's go to the longest wait times. Newark, poor Newark. And what's surprising is Newark is number one, but the other New York airports are not on there. So on this list of longest lines. So if I were you, I wouldn't fly out of Newark. But anyway, Newark Airport takes travelers an average of 23 minutes. The best time to go through Newark is Fridays from 10 to 11 p.m., which is 15 minutes. And the worst time, check this out. The worst time is Mondays from 12 to 1 p.m. and you can wait up to 60 minutes. Boo humbug. George Bush International in Houston. That used to be one of my favorite airports, actually, for international travel out of Texas. Second longest average wait time is 19 minutes just in general. That's their average time. It's almost 20 minutes. 5 to 6 a.m. is their shortest time. On Wednesdays, at 8 minutes. And the longest time is Sundays, 5 to 6 at 51 minutes. That's 5 to 6 p.m. Number 3 is Miami. 19.6 minutes is their average time. Fastest times on Sundays at 10 to 11 p.m., 8 minutes. On Thursdays, the longest time is 4 to 5 a.m. at 37 minutes. Baltimore, Washington, BWI wait time is 18.2 minutes on average. Quickest time is Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 10 to 11 p.m. At 2 minutes, and then Mondays from 2 to 3 p.m. is the longest at 35 minutes. And if you haven't noticed, on the longest times, the shortest times to get through these airports are at night, 10 to 11 p.m. And rounding out, number 5 is McCarran International in Las Vegas. Their average time is 17.3, with the easiest time to go through security is Tuesdays from 6 to 7 p.m., which is 7 minutes. And for you folks trying to get back home after being in Vegas for the weekend, and you're trying to get home to get to work on Monday morning, 6 to 7 a.m. on Sundays is the worst time, with 37 minutes waiting in security. I think that's kind of hilarious, actually. I'm going to take another quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the dangers of public Wi-Fi when you're traveling. You're going to want to listen to this and pay real close attention. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster.
Your Bucket List Buster is sponsored by Peaks Cruises and Tours. PeaksCruisesTours.com.
Welcome back to your Bucket List Buster. This is Karen Duncan, your host, and this is a really important topic. You know, one of my sponsors here is the Wireless Traveler, and we're always talking about the personal pocket Wi-Fi. And we talk about that a lot because they have a program, if you go to wirelesstraveler.com, that you can have your own hotspot, basically, anywhere in the world, anywhere that you travel. And it's pennies for the security of you being able to do some very sensitive internet work or banking while you're traveling internationally. And so this particular article I thought was very important is through my friends over at Travel Pulse, the dangers of Wi-Fi when traveling and hooking up to public Wi-Fi. So 79% of public Wi-Fi users are taking significant risk when choosing their Wi-Fi connection when traveling. That's a lot of us. And so when you select a hotspot based on its Wi-Fi strength, which is what most of us do, or opt in for a name that sounds appropriate, or worse yet, simply just pick any free random hotspot. According to Daniel Markuson, a digital privacy expert at NordVPN, you are leaving yourself open for some super bad stuff. And I think I personally have encountered that recently, and it was with my phone versus with my computer. Going back and forth. I know I should have been hooked up, but I was actually in a place where I didn't have the capability because that wasn't where I had signed up for my pocket Wi-Fi. And you need to let the folks at Wireless Traveler know where you're going to be traveling so that they can make sure that you have the appropriate coverage wherever you are all over the place. But anyway, what makes public Wi-Fi unsafe? Well, poor router configuration and a lack of strong password. How many of you are guilty of using your pet's name, your kid's name, birth dates, and all that stuff? This guy, Daniel Markison, actually talked to some hackers, and these are some of the things that they gave him so that you know what's going on. You're lucky. The snooper may just read your browsing activity, but in worst case scenarios, they can steal all your sensitive information, including passwords and credit card details. So how do you stay safe? The bottom line is, according to Murkison, is that you stay away from public Wi-Fi and use your own mobile data instead. That's it. Call the folks over at Wireless Traveler, and they will give you a discount, 15% discount if you use Peaks, P-E-E-K-S. That just means that you've been listening to the show and that you are interested in their products. So even if you don't use them, find somebody else that you feel comfortable using. But that's why we talk about this so often on this show. And then when connecting to a Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or a hotel or someplace like that, double check the network name. So they suggest that you go to the staff instead of just looking at it and assuming because it says Marriott, this is who it is. Go and ask the staff which one of these Marriott are actually the appropriate one. And that's how I think I got caught. It wasn't because of Marriott. Don't say it was Marriott. It was because I assumed that it was one of the three that was an option for me. And that's where you go wrong. You need to know exactly which one of those, because I have seen it where it has been mirrored to look like it was the legitimate one, and it was not. Hackers create fake Wi-Fi hotspots using the name that looks trustworthy. On public Wi-Fi, avoid visiting sensitive websites like social accounts. You can log into your social accounts like, Facebook and stuff. But if you have information in there that you don't want hacked, stay away from it. Never do banking transactions. Never, ever, 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 ever do banking. Public Wi-Fi is best for browsing the internet only. You must log into private accounts. If you must log into private account, make sure you have set up two-factor authentication. My husband hates this. He calls it a pain in the you-know-what. But this will save you. Use an e-signature to perform any important transactions. Enable your firewall. Most operating systems have a built-in firewall. Use them. And for us computer illiterates, and I'm including myself in them, find out what these things are. If you're traveling abroad a lot, find out and start using them. Use a VPN, virtual private network. I know the internet companies, they hate them, but the VPNs work. We use one here in Panama because, excuse me, because we do. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. And remember to turn off your Wi-Fi function on your device when you're not using it. It will spare you from unwanted connections with Wi-Fi networks surrounding you. That's some important information, and that's good information. And I hope that it really made sense for you. So I'm going to take another quick break. When I come back, we'll see what else we have for the show. This is Karen Duncan, your bucket list buster.
We're a generation of beach-loving, fun-binging vacationers.
That's right, my generation.
That's why Beaches Resorts is #1 for Generation Everyone. With the best water parks in the Caribbean and more land and water sports than anyone, including unlimited scuba. Plus,